So here I am, broadcasting the Steward Cup synthetic races for the first time since a long, long time ago. And this was completely spontaneous. This was not planned, but I didn't even think about it. I didn't have a reason not to do it. And someone in the forum was like, "Can you please do them?" And I'm like, "Sure. I don't have kids tonight. I don't have anywhere to be." So it sounded like a good plan to me. But where I went wrong is that it's 7 p.m. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I have the hunger. So I looked through my house, which is a little bit meager on adult food at the moment, and I thought, what can I possibly eat that would be virtually painless to eat while broadcasting? The answer was chips and salsa. So anytime you hear this noise, that's how you know I'm being ridiculous and not a nice host. Mmm, chips. Anyway, it's just me tonight, no MC. I'm literally going to just call the races. This is, again, spontaneous. I have not practiced these. I have not looked at how they go. We're just totally winging it tonight, which is kind of fun. Um, yeah, don't forget this is a big week of broadcasting with actual MCs and full race calls on Thursday and Friday nights too. So, don't worry. On Thursday night, there will be pizza. Or Friday. Probably Thursday. Because, yeah. Alright, so the first race tonight is the Stewards Cup Synthetic Mile, which drew a field of 6. Um, which drew a field of 6 and currently has a betting pool of $12,000, which is kind of lame, but it is only a field of 6. Um, it's funny, these are a bunch of older campaigners and then a 3-year-old. And what makes me laugh about it is that the horse on the rail has 9 wins. The second horse has 9 wins. The two outside horses have 8 wins and then 4 wins. And then you have the 3-year-old in this race who has 8 wins as well, even though he's considerably younger than anyone else. Obviously, your favorite in here is probably going to be Mile After Mile, who's 14 for 15 lifetime with a second, but the 3-year-old Unbound will be the one trying to get him 8 for 9 lifetime with a second. So wow, those are two really nice horses. So let's get right to it. Maybe. Where did I put it? There it is. They're off in the synthetic mile, and Spaghetti Sauce was out a beat slow, and Snow stumbled at the start. The other four are away well, and here comes Spaghetti Sauce moving between horses to take the lead, joined by Unbound and Snow. Then Mile After Mile settles back fourth. Blixt and Animal House is the early trailer. So they go around the first turn into the backstretch, and it is Spaghetti Sauce. He's leading by almost 2 lengths on a loose hold. Kind of wishing I had done some Spaghetti Sauce tonight, because that sounds better than chips. Unbound is up in the second, chasing that one, and very content with his spot. Then Snow. 2 lengths back to Mile After Mile. Then Animal House and Blixt is the trailer. Only half a mile left to go in the synthetic mile, and here comes a new leader. It is Unbound taking over from Spaghetti Sauce, and Spaghetti Sauce has spit the bit. Mile After Mile is moving up after that one. He passes Snow, Animal House back fifth, and Blixt is still the trailer. Gonna have to get going as they come to the top of the stretch. Unbound, and he leads by 2. Here comes Mile After Mile after him, though. Mile After Mile rolling down the stretch. Unbound, Snow, and Animal House. It is still Unbound, but now Mile After Mile pounces and pulls away, and Mile After Mile is going to make it 15 for 16 lifetime in the synthetic mile. Unbound second, Snow third, then Animal House and Blixt. Spaghetti Sauce was last. The official winner is Mile After Mile. He's a 4-year-old black colt by extraction out of Elusive Color by Elusive Award. He is trained by Magic Star and was bred by some guy in the chat room who seems to be excited about this for some reason. Congratulations, Sten. It'll be interesting to see, does anyone know if this horse is retiring? I mean, 15 for 16, like what else is there to do with your life other than retire? So I'll be interested to see if he does or not. Should be a very nice stallion. All right, next up, we have another race, and this is the Synthetic Marathon. It is a 1.5 miles, and there are only 5 horses. Let's just cut right to the chase. That's not happening. I will probably call the last half mile of this race because, yeah, we're just winging it tonight, guys. Just looking over the field really briefly, there's a horse in here named Franklin who is 11 for 21. That is some consistency. I always find it interesting when Laura Ferguson ends up with a horse from the D's Racing stable. Those two things kind of don't mix, but this horse, D's Escape, is closing in on $1 million. None of the horses in here are millionaires, but 2 of them are close, with Alchemist being next closest with $500,000. 1 minute to post, so make sure you get your bets in. And I am going to have a pre-race call. Chip. Okay, I'm back. Still 1 more minute to post. Lies. It's post time. To give you a brief recap of what has been happening for the first mile of this marathon, Franklin goes out to the lead and leads by as many as 6 lengths. D's Escape is settled in second, and he's got 10 lengths on the 3rd place horse, who's layman's terms. So they're kind of in a carousel at the moment, just all in a line. They haven't changed since the gates open. Oh, I gotta close the betting on this. Wah, wah, wah. They come to the half-mile pole in the marathon, and Franklin, he still leads by 4 lengths. D's Escape is trying to close the gap on him, and so is Layman's Terms coming on. Not much from Alchemist today, and Hirohito Showa is still last. They're coming to the top of the stretch now, and Franklin, he's going to have to hold off D's Escape. An upset brewing here as D's Escape is coming on. Layman's Terms trying, but he's not doing enough. It's still Franklin. D's Escape on his outside. It's Franklin, and here's the line. Franklin wins by a head. D's Escape second, Layman's Terms third, Alchemist was fourth, and then Hirohito Showa was last. They did not change positions the entire 1.5 miles. The official winner is Franklin. He's a 5-year-old dark bay horse by Benjamin out of Mom's Escape by D's Escaping. He is a homebred for Lori Hamill. That's pretty cool. And he is 12 for 22 lifetime. And he's over the $1 million mark now. Next up, we have the Stewards Cup Synthetic Juvenile Fillies. And now I'm getting excited because you know how I love 2-year-olds. I would take Stewards Cup Thursday over Stewards Cup Friday any day, because once the 2-year-olds have like finished their year, then we know how good they're going to be as 3-year-olds, or we can start thinking about that, and I love that. So I do like the synthetic 2-year-olds as well. These are all girls. This is a field of 7. There's a couple undefeated horses in here. Flake of Nightmare. I don't know if that's like a hay thing or what. That's a filly for Christy Williams, and she's 3 for 3. Aloha Gal, also for Christy Williams, 3 for 3. And Titanium Heart, who is a Steward bred, for Todd Lucas, who emailed me today and said he lost his password, and I have not replied to him. 4 for 4. That Titanium Heart is the only horse with 6 figures in earnings. Here she kind of dominates what the rest of them look like. But Dusty Clat, with lots of outside chances today, has 3 of the 7 runners in here, including Going On, who is coming off a Grade 3 stakes win at a mile, which is the same distance as this, and has won 2 in a row. Two minutes to post. Horses are circling behind the gate. Make sure you get your bets in, because I bet you, that Allie has linked this race in the chat room. And it's chip time. One minute to post. I'm kind of glad that you guys like this lazy format. It feels kind of lazy to me. Like, if you were brand new coming from EquestriCon coming into the sim, I'm glad that this is not the first broadcast that you will be hearing, because this is not our best effort. But it was a surprise. It's post time for the synthetic juvenile fillies. Field of 7 going a mile on the synthetic. Wrong button. The betting pool closes at $8,300. They're off. Careless Whisper bobbled at the break, and she's dropping back along the rail. It's going to be Square Flake who goes up to take the lead, joined by stablemate Going On and then Melissa McCarthy. Those 3 stablemates are all in a line. Titanium Heart settles back 4th as they go into the first turn. Flake of Nightmare, Aloha Gal, and after the bad break, Careless Whisper is the trailer. So they have about 6 furlongs left to run in the juvenile fillies, and Square Flake leads by a half length and is dogged by her stablemate Going On. Titanium Heart has moved up to be 3rd ahead of Melissa McCarthy, who's still right there on the outside. Flake of Nightmare is back 5th, but is only 2 lengths off the leader, and then Aloha Gal and Careless Whisper is dropping further back. They come to the half-mile pole, and the race is on because Square Flake still leads, but she's joined by Titanium Heart, a threatening presence on the outside, then Going On to Melissa McCarthy. Flake of Nightmare is asked to get going, and Aloha Gal too, but they're dropping back because Titanium Heart has exploded into the stretch. Titanium Heart, she leads by 2, now 3. Square Flake is giving game chase and then Going On. Dusty Clat, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but they are no match for Titanium Heart, who's going to win by 4 in the juvenile fillies. The official winner is Titanium Heart. She's a 2-year-old chestnut filly by Melmich out of Moore Park by Glen Eagles. That is like the most synthetic pedigree that the sim can come up with. She was bred by the Steward and is owned by Todd Lucas. This was a $2 million purchase, who is now 5 for 5 lifetime. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, next up we have the juvenile, I assume, because that's how that goes. Yes, this is only a field of 5, and the big favorite in here is the undefeated Arabian Nights. They asked me to sing it. I don't know the words, but Nina will cry if this horse loses. How's that for spontaneous? Probably everybody just jerked their headphones off of their ears. So yes, a field of 5, and outside of Arabian Nights, who is the fancy undefeated horse in here, who has 6 figures to his credit, there's Dethroned Emperor, a homebred for Jack Meyer, and then we got Dusty Clad again with 3 entrants in here, sorry, 2 are homebreds. So Dusty Clad gonna rack up the earnings today, even if he doesn't win. Good on you, Dusty. 2 minutes to post for the juvenile. I will let you recover from my exceptional singing to place a bet. Guys, if we're not careful, this is going to turn into an informal me just singing everything. I might just sing the entire preview of the next race. Here's a trivia question for you while you place your bets. How many cats can I literally touch right now? The answer is always 3 because they don't leave me alone. Like, I just fed you, get off me. I don't have 4 cats, I only have 3. But that would be amazing if the answer was 4. Because then I'd have an extra cat. It is post time for the juvenile. Are you guys betting? You better be. Oh, I should probably close like the betting for the whole thing, huh? Let me go do that. Pick 6 and all that good stuff. Okay. Juvenile, going a mile at Artificial Arena for $500,000. This is a grade 1, and the big favorite is Arabian Nights. They're off in the juvenile, and Snotus? I think this horse's name is Snotus. Goes out to lead them. Arabian Nights stumbled very badly out of the gate, and Arabian Nights is going to be last early. The other 4 were away okay. Daniel Island chasing Snotus and then pulled over again. Arabian Nights trying to recover, and then Dethroned Emperor is the early trailer. Snotus shows the way and is going quite quickly early. Daniel Island is chasing second, 2 lengths back to Arabian Nights, who is up third now and gaining. Pulled over again, sounds like something that would happen to me. This one's 3 in front of Dethroned Emperor, who is the early trailer. So now they have half a mile left to go in this 1 mile race, and Snotus still leads by 2. Arabian Nights, he's been closing the whole way. He's up in the second now, coming for the lead. Dethroned Emperor is chasing that one from the back of the pack, pulled over again, and Daniel Island has dropped out last. They're at the top of the stretch, and it's go time for Snotus, but he can't kick on. Arabian Nights takes the lead. Arabian Nights starts to run away, but here comes Dethroned Emperor. Arabian Nights, he's going to have a challenge because Dethroned Emperor is rolling down the center of the stretch. Arabian Nights, Dethroned Emperor, and Dethroned Emperor runs right past him. Dethroned Emperor is going to be the surprise winner in the juvenile. Arabian Nights second, Snotus third, then pulled over again, and Daniel Island. Arabian Nights, he lost the race. He stumbled out of the gate, he fell on his face, and he got second place. The official winner of the juvenile was the Throned Emperor. This is a 2-year-old dark bay colt by Snowflake out of Fighting Gravity by a Happy Snowman. Nina should still be happy because this horse is basically Nina bred, even though it is a homebred for Jack Meyer and is now 2 for 4 lifetime. Next up, we have the Synthetic Sprint. This is 6.5 furlongs on the main synthetic track because that's where we are. So this is a short field of 6. A lot of these races were weirdly short this year. It's not usually this bad. But we have 2 of the best horses in all of synthetic racing are meeting up in this race. We have 5-year-old Hooray, and Hooray is 20 for 24 lifetime, which is a lot. And he did win this race last year. And he won the 2 years in a row. He's won this race 2 years in a row. So he's going for win number 3. He has won all sorts of semi-awards. And hopefully this horse will finally retire so that we can breed to him. But if not, that's cool too because he's clearly awesome. So Airborne is the challenger. And this is a 3-year-old. He is 10 for 11 lifetime. That only loss came 2 starts back, surprisingly, and it was behind Hooray. He was actually 3rd that day, and the horse that beat him is a horse named Woke, and Woke is in this race and has drawn the rail. Woke has only won 7 of 25 starts, but he's closing in on $1 million, and if he runs well today, he will pass that mark. So this is a very cool race, I think. And I'd love to see a lot of these horses in the shed just because they offer some nice bloodlines. They're kind of like the first round of the new Game Point sires. Finally, like the good ones are going to retire and hit the shed. And so Woke being by undrafted is definitely one of those. Other horses in here, Cosmic Genesis is 6 for 16 lifetime, and Moonlight Navigator 3 for 16 for Teaco Downs. And then Lee Cara does have another horse in here, Skyward Rocket, but I can't imagine that Lee thinks that Skyward Rocket can beat his big horse, Hooray. So, oh my gosh, it's post time already. What? I didn't even get a chip that time. Sorry, I got really distracted by the fact that Gigi has Panda Express. That sounds amazing, and I'm jealous. Like, really jealous. Okay, it is time for the Synthetic Sprint. They're off, and there he goes. He caught a flyer out of the gate. It is Hooray in the lead. Moonlight Navigator, Airborne, Cosmic Genesis, and Skyward Rocket. Then Woke is the early trailer, but they are all chasing the early flyer, and that is Hooray. He's opened up by 3 lengths down the backside. Now 5. Moonlight Navigator is in second, then Airborne. Cosmic Genesis makes a bit of an early move. Going into the turn, he's trying to be up 3rd, passing Airborne 4th. Woke is coming on, and Skyward Rocket has dropped back last. 3 furlongs left to run, and Hooray, he leads by 7 lengths. But here comes Airborne, and the battle will be on because Airborne is slicing right into that lead. Moonlight Navigator, Cosmic Genesis, and here comes Woke rallying. They're at the top of the stretch, and Hooray, he still leads, but only by 2. Airborne is closing in on him, and they have 6 lengths on the rest. Woke is up 3rd. It's Hooray. He's all out. Airborne's coming. Hooray and Airborne, it's going to be too tight to call because they're under the wire, and it's a photo finish in the Synthetic Sprint. Noses apart. Woke back 3rd, about 6 lengths behind the leaders, then Skyward Rocket and Moonlight Navigator. The results of the photo are in. Airborne has upset Hooray by a nose in the Synthetic Sprint. Airborne is a 3-year-old chestnut colt by Air Spinell out of Council Tax by Tractor. He was bred by the Steward and is owned by Ricky Stam. This was a $2.4 million yearling who is now at like almost $1 million mark, I think. Or just past it, almost at it. Yep, now 11 for 12 lifetime. So that was the sprint. And next up, we have the Emily needs to turn off her air conditioning because it's blasting right in my face and is really chilly stakes, also known as the synthetic matron. This is a field of 7, and one of my favorite horses in the game that I didn't breed myself is in this race. And that is a Todd Lucas filly named That Night in Toronto. There's also the really fun horse in here named Another Fluff for Garrett Folsom. This is the full sibling to Double Fluff, who earned $1.3 million, and also to a bird named Ben, which is a $2 million earner who is running later today in the Classic-ish, I believe. So a very fun race for 3-year-old fillies and up, going a mile and a 16th. So this is kind of like the equivalent of the Stewards Cup distaff on the dirt that they're going short. This is the older fillies going short for $1 million. So this is a big race. One minute to post. That Night in Toronto is 13 for 16 lifetime. You know what? There's a horse in here that we shouldn't overlook, and this is Dee's Advice, who is a homebred for Lucas Davenport. 18 for 29 lifetime. This is a 6-year-old mare, surely making her final career start. She has been worse than third only 4 times in her whole career. 6 years. So that's pretty good. Madeline Gilbert, she's always good for a Stewards Cup win. She is the all-weather queen, and she has homebred Peace at Last in here, who's 5 for 13 lifetime. I just did mention your girls, or well, one of them, because I'm doing it on the fly, and I'm just staring randomly at the field, and the other one is Namine or Namine. One of those names. I should probably learn that. Okay, I'm giving you like 10 seconds to tell me how to say this horse's name before it's over. The betting pool closes at $1,000. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Namine? Namine? Is that like Nina, but Namina? Okay, I'm just going to call it Namina because I like it that it rhymes with Nina. And this is an impromptu broadcast. We're not going for excellence here, guys. A field of 7 going a mile and a 16th for $1 million. They're off in the synthetic matron, and it was a perfect break for all 7 runners. Admire My Heart shows early speed, joined by Dee's Advice and then Peace at Last. Lila D, Namina, That Night in Toronto tucked back second last, and then Another Fluff is the early trailer. So they have 7 furlongs left to go in the matron, and Admire My Heart leads by a length. Dee's Advice and Peace at Last side by side, second and third, then Lila D, Namine, I just can't. That Night in Toronto, and then Another Fluff is the trailer. Running down the backstretch now with about 5 furlongs left to go, and we have had a change in leader at as Peace at Last has taken over the lead. Peace at Last in a surprise early move. Admire My Heart is dropping back. Dee's Advice there. Lila D. Here comes That Night in Toronto as expected, making a rally. Another Fluff is asked to go, and she's coming on too. So they're coming around the turn to the top of the stretch, and Peace at Last, she leads by 2. Dee's Advice still chasing second, and here comes That Night in Toronto to make a battle of it down the stretch. Lila D still there and Another Fluff, but it is Peace at Last. She hooks up with That Night in Toronto, and those two kick on. Peace at Last, very game on the rail. That Night in Toronto. Dee's Advice back third. She's still in with it too. Peace at Last, That Night in Toronto. It's going to be Peace at Last. She wins by a neck. That Night in Toronto second. Dee's Advice a half length back third. Lila D and Another Fluff. The official winner is Peace at Last. This is a 4-year-old black filly by Benjamin out of Whittle Baby. Whittle Baby by Widow. That's pretty amazing. This is a homebred for Madeline Gilbert, otherwise known as You Didn't Mention My Horses, so they're not going to win. How about I couldn't remember who won this race, and I was just randomly talking about horses I knew. She is now 6 for 14 lifetime and is significantly richer than she was a few minutes ago. She is now close to $1 million in earnings. Next up, we have the Synthetic Dash, and this is a field of 6. Oh, one of my favorite horses is in here. That's Triple Dead Heat. I bred this one. I tweeted about it today, named after my friend who works at Woodbine, who goes by the name of Triple Dead Heat online. He did not answer my tweet about that, though. So now we're in a fight, actually. Weirdly enough, there's 3 Steward breds in a field of 6 here, so apparently I think I can breed sprinters and not the other kind of rowdy things. The only unbeaten, nope, that's a lie. There's 2 unbeaten horses in here. One is Deep Sky Day. That's a me bred that I have no idea what I was talking about when I named it. And the other is Stride Through Air, who's 5 for 5 lifetime for Christophe Desardines. So 1 minute a post, and you know what that means. It's chip time. Crunchy, 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 crunchy. So I'm sure that many of you have read my Daybreak in Seattle article, which is a little bit unusual from how Daybreak normally is, which is like 7 straight days of trying to mention every single person running in a Stewards Cup race. This year it was more the story of why I'm not currently writing the Daybreak series. It wasn't meant to be a pity party. It's rather meant to be a very honest portrayal of what's going on in my life, and I did that because I really feel strongly that too many people are afraid to talk about what's going on, and I know that so many people, especially people who tend to sit online and play horse games in their basements or whatever, I love you guys, they have a lot of these same problems too. And so if anyone wants to talk to me about it, I am totally here, because I do not mind talking about that stuff at all. And one thing that I'll say about this experience is that I think many of you know, because I've posted about it before, that I'm trying all sorts of different psych medications that my lovely psych has given me, and the one that I'm on right now makes me a little bit dyslexic, and that's not to say anything to people who actually have that problem, but I will literally be in the middle of talking and I can't say words anymore. So this has been an interesting experience calling these races tonight, because I lose my spot and I get all foggy, and yeah, I might be doing a little bit more prep work on Thursday and Friday, because yeah. So yeah, we're now late for whatever the next race was, because I was yakking my head off, and the next race is the Stewards Cup Synthetic Dash. Oh yeah, I already talked about this. Forgot about that. This is what I'm talking about. Betting pool closes at $11,800. All right, I'll let that one slide. As long as you guys are saving your money for the big dances on Thursday and Friday, then we're happy. They're off in the Stewards Cup Synthetic Dash, and it was another perfect break for all 6 runners. Stride Through Air is gunned out from mid-pack to take the lead early, joined by Triple Dead Heat. Deep Sky Day and then Roger Lobel, Ergonomics, and Frisky Fella is the early trailer, but they are well grouped as they roll down the backside. Stride Through Air dueling hard with Triple Dead Heat and Deep Sky Day between them. They've got 3 lengths on Roger Lobel and Ergonomics. Frisky Fella trails, but he's only 6 lengths off the rapid pace set by Stride Through Air. Stride Through Air is now shaking clear of Triple Dead Heat as he turns into the stretch. Stride Through Air is a length in front. Deep Sky Day is third. Ergonomics is not able to go on. Here comes Frisky Fella from the back of the pack, and they're into the stretch. Stride Through Air. He's in a Workland-like performance today. He's leading by a length and a half, and Triple Dead Heat can't get him. Deep Sky Day is the danger. He's up into second now. Triple Dead Heat fighting back. Frisky Fella fourth, but Stride Through Air was never truly threatened today. Stride Through Air marches to the wire to win. Triple Dead Heat second, Deep Sky Day third, then Frisky Fella and Ergonomics. The official winner is Stride Through Air. He's a 2-year-old Dark Bay colt by Air Spinell out of Cheerfaloot by Midnight Loot. He is owned by Christophe Desjardins, and this one was bred by the Steward. He's now 6 for 6 lifetime. I know this one, guys. He's nice. Well, I was really worried that I was going to run over time because it's 1 minute to post and we haven't previewed the next race, but then I found out that it's only a 3-horse field. What are you guys doing with Stewards Cup races if you're only going to have 3 horses in them? You are all fired. This is an interesting race because there's an undefeated horse in here for Casey Gillespie named Pitt and Fissure. Then there's the Steward bred, who's probably the longest shot on the board for Randall Allen. This is Dodge the Rocket. And then Glenn Escobar has a 4 for 5 Royal Heiress, a homebred. Kind of looks like this is a bit of a match race. Can Dodge the Rocket upset them? Betting pool didn't exist. Oh yeah, that's because there's only 3 horses. I get it. Sorry. They're off in the Stewards Cup Synthetic Filly Dash, and they broke together. Royal Heiress shows speed early, and Pitt and Fissure lets her go. Dodge the Rocket right there, too. The short field of 3, and they're well grouped. Only a length separates them all. Royal Heiress, though, she's the one leading by a half, now 3/4, joined by Pitt and Fissure dogging her on the outside. Dodge the Rocket drops back a little bit and lets the first 2 go. She may not be quick enough, as Royal Heiress leads them into the turn by a length and a half. It's time for Pitt and Fissure to get going, but Dodge the Rocket is the one who tries to make an early move. Now here goes Pitt and Fissure as they come to the top of the stretch. Royal Heiress, she's leading by 2 lengths. Pitt and Fissure is just not doing enough to try and get to her today, and then Dodge the Rocket, who has dropped out last. Royal Heiress, and she didn't even have to try today. Royal Heiress just shown the whip to keep her mind on running. She's going to win by 2. Pitt and Fissure second. Dodge the Rocket rounds out the field of 3. The official winner is Royal Heiress. This is a 2-year-old black filly by At the Gallows End by out of Walnut Bell, who Walnut Bell was really good by Tractor. Walnut Bell was a 2-time Semi Award winner, 13 for 20 lifetime with 2.1 million earned. So who knew that her daughter would win a Stewards Cup race for owner breeder Glenn Escobar? 5 for 6 lifetime. And the horse that beat her did not run in this race. Let's go see why that is. Because she's running in some race also today that is not the Stewards Cup. I don't get it. Anyhow, what's next? I was about to sing this one, but this preview for you guys, but it's 8 horses. This is probably the most anticipated race of the day. Because it pits Bear's Pearl, who is 9 for 11 lifetime, against Frankenstorm, who is 16 for 19 lifetime. And the cool thing about this race for us in the chat room is that Bear's Pearl is homebred for Joseph DePaulo, who is a chat room regular, as is Shiadra Katari, who is the owner-breeder of Frankenstorm. These are obviously far and away the two most popular and best horses, but this is, not an easy race by any means, because you've got three Steward breds in here. One of them for Ricky Stam, this is Lose Your Voice, who's 8 for 13 lifetime. Then you've got Overcast Morning, another Ricky Stam, that's 6 for 13 lifetime. And Alex Puderbaugh has one in here named Turn to Silent. What am I doing when I'm naming these horses? Usually I'm just like naming whatever song is on my playlist, so that's what we're going to go with, Turn to Silent. 7 for 16 lifetime, and has never been, no, only twice has been worse than third, so pretty nice field here. But I was just looking up to see if Turn to Silent was, no, it's not a song. I don't know what I was doing there. So let's talk about the two big horses, just because we have 2 minutes to post. The first one is Frankenstorm, who will break from the 6. This was the champion all-weather female thing when she was a 2-year-old 2 years ago, and when she was a 3-year-old last year. She is now 4, probably her last race. What I love about this girl for Shiadra Katari is that Shiadra's first huge horse was Chocopology, and Chocopology is another all-weather horse who was 14 for 21. She'll probably be in the Hall of Fame one day. I really wish she had a headshot because she's kind of awesome. She had a huge early career, went on this crazy winning streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 straight wins. That's really hard to do. So, it's just cool that Shiadra's next huge horse is from the same mare. This is a daughter of Amazombie, and she's got a cute headshot. So, yeah. So her big rival would be Bear's Pearl. This is a filly who is 9 for 11 lifetime. She has tried the dirt and finished second. Otherwise, she would be 9 for 10 lifetime, if you throw out that race. A daughter of At the Gallows End, another cute headshot. She is a 3-year-old, and I guess will probably run next year. She is coming off 2 straight wins, and excuse me, the only time that she has faced Frankenstorm, Frankenstorm did beat her, but Frankenstorm is coming off probably the worst finish of her whole career. Yep, a 4th place finish last out. What was up with that? The horse that beat her upon Gallows End is in here for Jamie Bates. This is a homebred, 8 for 17 lifetime. Definitely in with an upset chance here, because this horse has won 1, 2, 3 of her last 4 starts and seems to be the hot horse here today. So betting pool is going to close at, wrong button every time, at $1,000. I'm disgusted with you guys. Sorry. So many windows open. Okay. It's race time. They're off in the synthetic speed for fillies and mares. Bear's Pearl stumbled very badly out of the gate, so too did Upon Gallows End, and Frankenstorm had to steady off of those two, so a very rough start for the field of 8. Frankenstorm now, though, she's hustled to go on with it, joined by Overcast Morning, Turn to Silent, and Upon Gallows End. Bear's Pearl back mid-pack, Lose Your Voice is there too, then Prayer and a Song, and Rabbit Kisser is the early trailer. So Frankenstorm, despite the start, she is shaken out to a half-length lead. Overcast Morning is dogging her, Turn to Silent, and Upon Gallows End. Lose Your Voice and Bear's Pearl back 6th. Bear's Pearl's going to have to come around the field. Prayer and a Song and Rabbit Kisser. They're coming to the top of the stretch, and Frankenstorm, she leads by a length. Overcast Morning still chasing, and here comes Bear's Pearl now between horses. Bear's Pearl up into 3rd, passing Turn to Silent and Prayer and a Song. It is still Frankenstorm, and she leads by 3, but Bear's Pearl is barreling down on her. Overcast Morning can't do better than 3rd. It is Frankenstorm. Can she hold off the younger filly? Frankenstorm, Bear's Pearl. It's going to be another photo in the Steward's Cup. An amazing performance by Bear's Pearl. Did she get there, or did Frankenstorm hold her off? 3.5 lengths back to Overcast Morning. The official winner of the Stewards Cup Synthetic Speed, the horse that won by a nose in the photo, was... Wait, let me check and make sure. I don't want to say the wrong horse. Was Bear's Pearl. Bear's Pearl is a 3-year-old gray filly by At the Gallows End out of A Fooling Dream by No Fooling. This is a homebred for Joseph DePaulo, and she is now 10 for 12 lifetime. And she is a millionaire. I don't know what else you could ask for, Joey. That was pretty awesome, despite the fact that everyone fell on their heads at the break. Danny, that was funny. Okay. How many more races do we have? It surely cannot be that many. 2 more, I believe. We have the Distaff and the Classic. Okay, cool. We can do that. 2 minutes to post for the Distaff. This is a field of 10, so I'm not even going to try. I'll just give you a very brief overview in that none of these horses are undefeated. They honestly all look a little bit middle of the road. Like Nina Holson has Alive or Living, who's only won 7 of 22, but has earned $860,000. Oh, Jamie Bates with the Clinton Jacinto bred, Maria Leclad, 12 for 18 lifetime. There's a lot of older fillies in here. And then the horse that I recognize is Menzie, bred by me, named after my sister-in-law, who I like quite a lot. Much. Okay, if I sound really bad on Thursday and Friday and can't keep it together with the talking, can you guys tell the other people not to make fun of me? Because I'm really trying. Skedaddle. Love it, bae. I love it. You know what's funny about Nina is that she has a horse in here named Don't Let Me Down. If this horse loses, will it let Nina down? Or are her expectations low? I don't know. Okay, it's water time. And then it'll be post time. I didn't need that water, so I just poured it on my leg. Because that's where water belongs. When you think it's going in your mouth, just pour it on your leg. There was a hole in my chin. I sound old now. Okay. It is post time for the synthetic distaff, which is a mile at Artificial Arena for $750,000. Weird race. They're off in the distaff, and it was a good break for all 10 runners. Don't Let Me Down shows speed and is joined by Maria Leclad, then Chungu, Menzie, Alive or Living, Bev, Kaminsky's Skedaddle, Full of Cheers, and Fairy Time is the early trailer. So they're whipping around that turn into the backstretch, and Maria Leclad has now taken the lead over Don't Let Me Down. Those two in a bit of a dogfight early. Chungu is third. Then comes Menzie 4 lengths back to Alive or Living, Bev, Skedaddle, Kaminsky's Full of Cheers, and Fairy Time is still the trailer, about 8 lengths front to back. Half a mile left to go in this 1 mile event, and Maria Leclad, she leads by a half length over Don't Let Me Down. Don't Let Me Down still trying to stick with her, Chungu and Menzie, then Alive or Living coming on. Bev, Full of Cheers, and Skedaddle, they're at the top of the stretch, and Maria Leclad, she kicks away from Don't Let Me Down. Don't Let Me Down, she's asked the question and she doesn't have the answer. Chungu crowds her a little bit, and then Alive or Living, but this race is over because Maria Leclad is not going to be challenged in the stretch. Maria Leclad, she's going to win by a length and a half. Don't Let Me Down holds on to second, Chungu third, and then Alive or Living. Hey, look! Nina Olson was 2-3-4, which she probably doesn't appreciate, but I think that's cool. The official winner is Maria Leclad. This is a 6-year-old roan mare by Ironclad Lad out of Sergio the Dealer by A Holiday Prayer. Clinton Jacinto bred this one, who is now owned by Jamie Bates, and she is 13 for 19 lifetime and is now a millionaire and surely will retire and make babies now, right? Like, that just seems likely, in my opinion. But I am not the boss of this horse. I am the boss of the sim, though. Next up, we have the last race of the day. Thank goodness. This was fun though, guys. We should do it again sometime. Like next year, a really long time from now. This is the mile and an eighth classic, a purse of I almost said a field of 1,000,000 horses. No, a purse of $1,000,000. There is the obvious interesting story in here, which is a bird named Ben. This guy has earned $2,000,000. He was a super horse back in his earlier days. He's lost his last 3 in a row, which are his only losses in his life. But he may be getting back into form a little bit because he was second last out to Franklin, who did win the marathon earlier, and that was in the Plastics Classic. There is no Franklin here today. The Steward has a Madeline Gilbert has a Steward bred in here named On Safari, who is 7 for 9 lifetime and closing in on $1,000,000. So that is obviously a very legit animal who did win the Derby Dreams Stakes this year, but was second in the all-weather Derby to Valacar. Tian Long has this one. Valacar drew the outside today. Weirdly enough, it did win that all-weather Derby, but has not won since. Finished second 3 weeks in a row, or 3 races in a row, behind Benjamin and On Safari. Benjamin is in here for Anku Can, and Benjamin is 2 for 9 lifetime, coming off that big win in the all-weather 2,000 guineas, which is a rich grade 2 event, well, richish. And then there's choices, and choices for Nina Olson, 8 for 13 lifetime, $500,000 earned. I think Nina was saying something to me on AIM earlier where she was like, I have to make the choice about if Choices is retiring. And I was like, I do not know who you're talking about, so yeah. This is a son of Acclamation. I found him. So maybe this is who she was talking about, possibly retiring. 1 more minute to post, and I think the only 2 horses I haven't talked about, Restless Audition for Kenneth Prater. Kenneth Prater doing quite a good job these days. Was featured in the Edge this week, yesterday, under the Rising Star section. This is a 5-year-old gelded son of Biandetti, who I like and people should breed to because he's cool. And then lastly we have Glenn Larson's homebred Wizard of the West by Wizarding War. It's a very diverse, evenly matched field. I could genuinely see any of these horses winning it, so... You guys are so funny sometimes. Alright, it is post time for the Synthetic Classic. $1,000,000 on the line, going 1 mile and an eighth. Field of 7. Betting pool closes at $6,200. Ow, okay, before I call this race, my apartment door is kind of garbage. Like, it's really ugly. It looks like people have thrown other people into this door. Like, the door is the only thing I don't like about this apartment. But it also doesn't stay open. Like, it needs to be shut. It just desires to be shut. So I flung the door open with my foot and bent down to grab something on the floor on my way out, and the door swung back and hit me broadside in the side of the face. So I just touched my face to scratch an itch, and it was agonizing. Like, I have this huge lump on my face now. This should surprise no one considering the accident proneness over here, but come on. I didn't mean to slam a door in my face. They're off in the Synthetic Classic, and Choices was steadied at the start. A bird named Ben broke well along the rail, but On Safari is going to be the one going to the lead, joined by Valacar and then Benjamin. Choices, Wizard of the West, a bird named Ben taken back second last now, and Restless Audition is the early trailer. So they're under the wire the first time and going round into the first turn. On Safari leads by 1.5 lengths. Valacar and Benjamin side by side early, second and third. Then Choices is fourth, only about 2 lengths off the lead. Then Wizard of the West 2 lengths behind that one. A bird named Ben is still sixth, with Restless Audition pushing that one from the outside. So they're running down the backstretch, and On Safari leads by 2.5. He's very happy with his spot. Valacar is second, then Benjamin. Choice is back fourth, and 4 lengths back to Wizard of the West. A bird named Ben's going to have to start to get going, then Restless Audition. They are rounding the far turn, and On Safari still leads by 2. Here comes Choices to challenge him. Valacar's ass, but is dropping back. Benjamin can't keep up. Here comes a bird named Ben, as expected, rallying late, then Restless Audition. They're into the stretch. On Safari, but he's collared by Choices. The danger is now going to be a bird named Ben. Choices is trying to kick away. A bird named Ben on the outside and On Safari in between them. A Restless Audition is back fourth, but it's going to be Choices who's going to dog them all home. Choices is going to leave by a half length. On Safari is second, a bird named Ben third, then Restless Audition and Valacar. And that concludes today's Stewards Cup races. The official winner of the Classic is Choices. He's a 5-year-old gray horse by acclamation out of decision made by Yes. This is a homebred for Nina Olson, better known as the owner of Arabian Night. Wow, that one was off key, sorry. 9 for 14 lifetime and is a millionaire. Please join us on Thursday evening for a special edition of the Stewards Cup calls. I say special because I genuinely forgot what week it was. I have EquestriCon on the brain all the time. Like, all the time. So, I genuinely almost didn't call the races this week because I just flat out forgot. But don't worry, guys. You would never let me do that, would you? No, you wouldn't. You could announce who won the steeplechase. I could. Here's the problem with the steeplechase contest that we did today. Y'all were wrong, like all of you. I think I only saw one person, which would mean that our contest is over. So, yeah. The horse, I want to say, I don't have it open, but I think the horse is named I Love to Jump, which is pretty much the best steeplechase name ever. And the horse is coming off 2 really good performances in game point sired stakes, but I could see why it was considered a long shot, because those are just game point sired stakes, right? I Love to Jump. Yeah, I got nothing left for you. I kind of wanted to sing, but really I need to clean the cat boxes. It's very important. I moved my beloved son, Nick's cat tower over to right next to my desk today. This is probably the best day of his life. He can literally be asleep and seeing me at the same time, or touching me at the same time, so that's a pretty happy cat. Alright, I'm going to clean cat boxes and probably eat something that's not chips. In case you're wondering if I was just sitting here consuming chips the whole entire broadcast, I only had one in between every race call, so I had, 11 chips? That's totally a serving. Okay, guys, have a fantastic day. Don't forget the Tuesday harnessy Stewards Cup races tomorrow, and the mixers on Wednesday, and then we'll be back with you on Thursday evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Glenn Escobar, for this awesome idea that I wish I'd come up with myself, and have a fantastic night.